Hi, I'm Deborah. Thank you for joining me today. Today is a pigeon practice, so we're going to explore a lot of different variations of pigeon. In doing so, we'll get a great stretch, of course, for our hips and glutes and lower back and hamstrings, but we're also going to build strength and encounter some challenges for our balance, our core, our mobility. We're going to work through some fun and funky flows. So I'm real excited to share it with you. If you have a yoga block, you may want to keep it close by. We're going to ease in today, so let's start down on our back. We can come into constructive rest pose, which is just bending the knees and letting the feet support you close in towards the body. We can close our eyes for a few moments, let out a couple of deeper exhale breaths as we just settle into our practice, feeling thankful that we've made it to our mat and we're about to do something healthy and healing for our bodies, our mind, and our spirit. As we notice how we're breathing, let's just try to lengthen both ends of the breath. Let's go ahead and take our arms out wide, and we're going to walk our feet out just a touch wider as well. We'll take a deep breath in. With our exhale, let's let both knees fall over to the left side. Go ahead and let them land and just hang out for a moment. We'll pull back to the center with a breath in. Breath out, we'll take them over to the right side. Pause for a moment once you get there. And we'll do each side again. So inhaling to the center. Exhale, we'll drop over to the left. We'll pull back to the center and then just drop over to the right. As we come back to the center this time, let's bring our arms back down by our sides. We'll walk our feet in nice and close, in line with the knees and the hips. And we're going to take a bridge pose. So we'll start to peel the hips up and climb all the way up to the shoulders, pressing down through our arms, firming up the back of our body. Let's lift and spread all 10 of our toes, and then relax them back down to the ground. We'll take a breath in here. With the exhale, we're just going to melt the spine back down to the ground, and we'll flow this a few times. So with the inhale, let's peel back up, climb all the way back up onto those shoulders, and then exhale, start to melt slowly back down until your hips land. A few more like that. As we're coming up and down, we're just keeping the knees right in line with the hips. And we're feeling and kind of tuning into our spinal mobility here. We lift bone by bone. And then we just replace the body bone by bone. Let's go one more time like that. Inhale, climb all the way up. Big breath in. Exhale, deep breath out all the way down. Nice job. All right, we're going to lift the right leg up, and we're just going to drop and lift it a few times. So you could drop it with an inhale, lift it with an exhale. See how your hamstrings are feeling today. We're going to give them a lot of love throughout the practice. Good. One more like that. We'll hold this one up. We're going to cross that right ankle down against that bottom knee. Let the right knee fall out to the side. The arms will open up, and we'll drop over to the left side with both legs. Pause for a moment. We'll pull back to the center and drop over to the right side. Good. Let's come back to the center. We'll straighten that right leg back up towards the ceiling and then replace the foot back down on the ground. Arms can come back in by the sides. Left leg lifts up. A couple times we drop and lift it. So inhaling and exhaling. Feel how your breath just guides your body. Let's do one more. Holding this one up. And then crossing the ankle over the opposite knee, opening the arms. We'll drop both legs over to the right. We'll come back to the center and drop both legs over to the left. All right, good. Back to the center. Let's lift the left leg up. Let's drop the foot back down. As our arms come by our side this time, we're going to lift back into the bridge pose and mimic some of that same movement from here. So can you lift your right leg again? We'll drop that right leg as we breathe in and lift it as we breathe out. Let's go 3 more times. Really pressing down through that left heel, reaching up through the right toes. Last one here, hold. Now let's cross the right ankle over the left knee, pull the right knee wide. You've got a little pigeon stretch here in your bridge pose. Good. As we roll back down through the spine, we're going to take our fingertips back behind our head. And as we curl the legs in this time, we're also going to curl up with the upper body. So a little ab curl. And then we'll drop down. We'll inhale to lift into that pigeon bridge. And with the exhale, we'll curl up into that pigeon crunch. Let's go a few more like that. This is a nice little combination of both strength and stretch. Good. Let's do just one more like that. This time as you curl up, we'll stay and we'll reach our hands and thread behind that thigh and just hug in a little tighter, a little deeper into your stretch. See how it feels. Good. We'll drop the head. We're going to drop the legs, open the arms, and then we'll take the twist here. So let's bring the legs over to that left side, and we're going to wave this top knee. So you're going to pull that top knee away from your body, kind of towards the ceiling, and then draw it down towards the ground. Try that a couple of times. So you're just kind of waving that top leg, further exploring your hip joint and your gluteal muscles. Let's go one more time like that. This time, as the knee falls towards the ground, you can take your hand and just rest it gently on top of the leg. And let's turn our head away. We're staying just for a moment or two, but long enough to find the out breath. Maybe even close your eyes and just really relax in this stretch. Good. Let's bring the head back to the center and then the legs back to the center. Arms by our side, we're going to lift into that pigeon bridge one last time. Straighten the top leg and replace the foot. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So the left leg will lift up. We'll cross the ankle, pull the knee wide, and then we'll go ahead and lower the hips. Fingertips come behind the head. As the legs curl in, we crunch up and we exhale. And then with the inhale, we'll float into our bridge. Exhale, lower and curl in. Good. Drive down through the right heel, lift high through the hips. And then as you crunch, keep the elbows wide. Slide the rib cage to the hips. Let's go just about 2 more of these. Good. Last one here. Curl in, hold this one, and let's thread behind that thigh. Curl in just a little bit tighter. Let's let the head drop and then that bottom foot drop. We'll pull the legs over towards the right for the twist. That top knee is just going to wave a few times. So pull away towards the ceiling and then pull towards you down towards the floor. Good. Couple times like that. Obviously, the range that you're working with and the speed that you're flowing with, that's up to you and your body. We can do one more like that. And then this time as the knee pulls towards the ground, you can let your hand rest on top and your head turn away and just relax for a few moments. No worries while you're here. Good. Let's bring the head back to the center and then the legs. Arms by our side. We'll use the arms to help us. We press down so that we can lift the hips. And then that left leg straightens up. And then we'll replace the foot. Bridge pose here. Both feet down. Balance yourself back out. And then with the exhale, we'll roll down and we'll just draw the knees here in towards the chest for a nice little hug. Maybe move your feet and your ankles around a few times. All right, we're going to come up to seated now. And we're going to hop into a boat pose. Okay, so let's start by just lifting the chest up and the legs are out in front of us. We're going to reach and take hold of the legs here, leaning back just a little bit more. Core very connected, spine very long. This could be your boat today, or you could lift your legs and you could release your arms. Just make it your own. You could even straighten the legs if your hamstrings cooperate today. It's totally up to you. Now, as we drop the feet in line with the hips, we'll take the arms a little bit behind us. We're going to lift into an incline table. So gluteal muscles firm again, back body strong again. Let's make this our inhale breath. With our exhale, we're going to land and float the boat. We'll flow that a few times. So inhaling to rise up into the incline table. Exhale to lower, and then find your variation of boat. Let's go 3 more times. Twice more. Inhale to float up. Exhale to descend, and then float the boat. Let's go 1 more time. Hold this one, just an extra breath or 2. Good, and then relax. So we're going to add a few things on and we're going to create a little funky flow now, a fun one. So let's lift up here to that incline table. I'm going to have you take your left leg and just extend it out, and it can just stay kind of parallel to the ground, right in line with the other leg. But then as we drop the hips, we're going to lift that leg a little bit so that we can cross our ankle over the opposite knee. So here's a seated pigeon stretch. See how that feels? We are going to move with it a little bit. So let's take the knee over to the side. Just swing a little windshield wiper here. This time, as you go the other way, you're going to go so far that your foot lands on the ground. Your arm's going to swing around, and we're just going to pivot around here and come up to a standing position. So we're kind of diagonally facing the mat, and then we sink down into a nice wide squat. We'll do that a few times. So inhale, lifting up. Exhale, sinking in as deep as it feels good for you. Good. Now on this next one, we're going to bring it back down the way we came up. So you're going to let your hands land. Your right knee hooks back down to the ground so that your left ankle then can hook over that right knee, and you pull yourself back to the center. And once we're there, we're going to lift into that incline table with our little pigeon stretch. Good. We'll then send that left leg out straight. We'll drop the left foot, drop the hips, and float the boat. We'll try that to the other side. So let's drop down, lift into incline table. Right leg will stretch out and just keep it right in line with the other leg. We'll then drop the hips, hook that right ankle over your left knee. Take a moment here and just feel the seated pigeon stretch. We'll let the knee fall over towards the ground. And then we're going to swing all the way to the other side. Let the foot land. Arm comes around, and you just kind of pivot around here so that you can come up again into your standing position. And we'll take a few of our wide squats. Think about bringing your elbows down towards your knees. But of course, you're choosing your own depth here. Let's go 1 more time like that. And then reach for the ground. Left knee lands. Right heel hooks right over that left knee. Pull to the center. Once you get there, incline table with a little extra hip stretch. We'll send that right leg out straight. Drop the foot. Hold the incline table. Release it. And here's our boat pose again. So we're going to flow that 1 more time each way. So let's lift into the incline table. Let's extend that left leg out straight. As we lower the hips, we'll cross the left ankle over, find your stretch, and then swing that left knee over to the ground. Swing the left foot across, let it land, left arm comes around, and here we are in our standing position. We're just going to do one squat this time. We'll lift, and this time we'll bring ourselves all the way down, letting that right knee hook under, left ankle goes on top. Swing it back to the center and find your incline table. Left leg extends out. We drop it, incline table as we inhale. Exhale. Boat pose. Fun stuff, right? Let's go one more time. Incline table. Let's extend our right leg. Take a breath in. With the exhale, sit back and hook into that stretch. First, go to the knee side, and then swing across to the foot side. Swing the arm around. Stand all the way up. One big, beautiful inhale here with a deep exhale squat. We'll lift up. This time we'll come all the way down. Bring the left knee down. Hook the right ankle across. Swing it back to the center. Lifting into our incline table. Extending our leg out. Dropping the foot. One more breath in here. And then last time, boat pose, your best one yet. How does it feel? We're moving on. All right, let's cross our ankles and just rock forward. We'll come into a tabletop position. We can take a couple rounds of our cat and cow and just see how we're feeling through our spine. So rounding the spine with the out breath, pulling through and lengthening that spine with the in breath. Good. Arch away, cat pose. Pull through, cow pose. We'll do one more of each. Nice. Now let's go ahead and sit back to child's pose and just take a few moments to be still. So you can slide your hands out, let your head and your heart drop down. Calm down, deepen the out breath. Now let's inch our hands a little bit further forward, spread our fingers a little wider. We'll lift up, tuck the toes under, find a stretch here in the arches of your feet. And then we'll find our downward facing dog. So hips up and pull way back. We are going to now walk our hands towards our feet. So feeling some upper body strength here as we walk ourselves back. We come into a forward fold. And from the forward fold, we're just going to bend the knees deeply here and shoot into our chair pose. Let's inhale, lift up, extended mountain, and then we'll exhale, swan dive here, and we'll go ahead and walk ourselves back out into our downward facing dog. We'll take our first yogi vinyasa here as we come forward into a plank pose, knowing, of course, you can drop your knees at any point. We'll lower halfway down and pause. We'll come all the way down, and then baby cobra here, heart lifts up, shoulders roll back. We're going to tuck our chin. And then let's pull back again into our downward facing dog. Let's do all of that again. So we're going to walk our hands back all the way to our feet. From here, we'll bend the knees deeply, find our chair pose. From our chair, we'll lift up, deep breath in. With the exhale, we'll swan dive, fold in half, and walk ourselves out again into downward facing dog. With an inhale breath, let's come forward to plank. We can come halfway down. You can choose that low cobra again, or flip onto the tops of your feet for upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Now this time we're going to walk ourselves back. I'm going to give you some options now. We're going to come into our chair pose, and let's do this together. And just a few times we're going to come in and out of chair. So as we stand, we can bring our hands to our heart mountain, and then we'll exhale, sink deep into our seat. Let's do that twice more. Good. Now, depending on how you feel with your balance today, you can stick with that option, the chair pose flow. If you would like to, we're going to do a standing balancing pigeon flow. And it's also okay to hold on to something sturdy close by if you would like to. So one option to keep it just a little bit easier is to cross low. So you cross at the shin and your toes can stay on the ground, and then you'll still have some room to bend that standing knee, okay? If you want a little bit more, slide your foot up higher. We're gonna flex that foot and just kind of hook the ankle over the opposite knee. So just like we did before, we're gonna try to flow. So we're gonna sink down into a pigeon squat and then stand up, hands to heart. Again, sink in, stand up. Feel free to hold on to something or just stick with the basic chair. Good. One more time here. Let's hold our pigeon. Okay. You can stay like this. You can also see how it would feel to let your fingertips float down towards the ground. Requires a little bit more balance and it will provide a deeper stretch. So feel free to stay more upright if that's better for you. Good, let's come back up. As we come out, this time we'll unhook the leg and come to mountain pose. Let's try the other side. So we can cross low, or we can cross higher, or we can just stick with the chair. That's cool too. So we'll sink in as we breathe out. Hands to the heart, stand tall as we breathe in. Good, just two more. Good. Last one here. We're holding this one. You have the option to stay here or to hinge forward and reach down towards the ground. We are going to have the opportunity to explore this shape one more time, keeping in mind that uncrossed legs will also be an option. So if you came down, float back up. Let's meet up, hands at the heart. Let's play around a little bit more. So we're going to inhale up. As we exhale, we'll swan dive. We'll walk ourselves out, finding our downward facing dog. Your yogi vinyasa is optional. If you want to rest a little longer, you can do that. If you would like to flow, come to plank. Let's lower halfway. Take your back bend, either low or high, and then exhale. Let's meet up in our down dog again. All right, so let's see. Let's take our right leg up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. Once we're there, we can bend that right knee, drop our right ankle around towards our left shoulder. As we shift forward, we're going to swing that right knee over to the left elbow. We're then going to swing it over to the right elbow. And then as we push back, you have the option here to hook your right ankle over the left knee. So you're actually creating a pigeon shape in your downward facing dog. If this feels like a little much, just go into traditional downward facing dog, especially since I'm going to invite you now to walk your hands back to the back of the mat. So if that deeper standing pigeon wasn't working with you before, just come into kind of a mini squat with your feet, both feet down. Good. Let's walk it back out. Now we're going to come out the way we went in. So we're going to take the right knee over to the right elbow. We're going to swing it to the left elbow. We're going to send the leg up and around for three-legged dog with an open hip. And now we're going to come in traditional pigeon. So we're going to take the right knee up towards that right wrist and let the left foot come over. Sorry, not the left foot, the right foot come over towards the left wrist. So this is our traditional pigeon. Could be helpful to slide a block underneath any extra space you might have back there behind your right hip. If this is terribly uncomfortable, you could just roll off to the side, slide your back knee in a little bit. We're going to take a few pigeon push-ups here. So we're tenting our fingertips, lifting our heart up, stretching the belly long. This will be our deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to come down like we want to kiss the mat. Let's flow that a few times. So inhaling up, exhaling, lower it down. Two more like that. Good. Now, this time, we're going to go ahead and come down and just settle in. So, assuming it feels okay for you, you could come down to your forearms. Just come into the depth that feels right for you. And let's take some moments of surrender now. Let's relax our feet, relax our face, slow down our breath. Let's just be here for a little bit. Good. Now let's slowly go ahead and bring ourselves back up. Now you can either just continue to hold your pigeon here with this kind of proud position, lifting the chest. One last little variation here, you could reach back and take hold of that foot and just bring it in for a little extra quad stretch. Just see how that feels. Maybe. Not going to stay too long. All right, good. Go ahead and let it go. Let's tuck those back toes. We're going to slide back into our downward facing dog. Optional yogi vinyasa here. Take it or leave it. Knowing child's pose is always a great option if you ever want just a few extra moments of rest. So we're going to do all of that to the other side. Our left leg now is going to lift up high towards the sky. We're going to open the hip here as we bend the knee and drop the heel around towards the opposite shoulder. We'll then shift forward, taking that left knee to the left elbow. We're going to swing it across for a moment to the right elbow. And then as we pull the leg back, we're going to hook that left ankle just over the right knee and pull into our down dog pigeon. And if it doesn't feel right, go ahead and uncross your legs, especially knowing where we're going next. So when you're ready, let's walk the hands back. You can put both feet down if you would like to. We come back into, again, kind of this deep pigeon stretch, standing. And then we can walk it back out again. So let's come out the way we went in. So let's swing that left knee over to the right elbow. Swing it to the left elbow. We'll send the leg up and behind, bending the knee and opening the hip. And then welcoming our traditional pigeon. So left knee to left wrist, left foot towards the right wrist. That foot's a little bit active to help protect your knee. And if you've got a whole lot of extra space you would like to support, you can slide your block underneath your back hip. All right, pigeon push-ups. Fingertips are tinted, torso is long. As we exhale, we'll just melt down towards the mat. Flowing that a couple of times. So inhaling up, exhaling down. Twice more. This time we can go ahead and come in and stay. So find your spot and settle in. Just become still and quiet for a few moments to enjoy the stretch. Good stuff, huh? Let's go ahead and walk it back up. Here's your option. You can just stay here, kind of this proud pigeon position, or you could invite that back foot in if it's willing to come and just kind of pull it in towards the body for your quad stretch. All right, let's let that go, tucking those back toes and coming back into our downward facing dog for one last chance, Yogi Vinyasa. Okay, we have one more little segment to do, some seated work again. So I'm just going to turn here on the mat. So these are some yin postures we're going to explore as we're setting it up. I'm just going to come into a little butterfly position here, see how we're doing. Um, so we're not going to keep them super long like we would in a yin practice, but we are going to play around and see how they feel after we've really warmed the body quite a bit. So, um, this first one's called deer pose. So we're going to take our front leg and just kind of line it up with one edge of the mat, and then our back leg hooks behind, and we line that shin up with the other edge of the mat. So if you're facing your long edge, you've got your front leg lining up with the long edge, back leg lining up with the short edge. That's approximate. You can always adjust it so that your body feels okay. Your pelvis is going to naturally feel a little bit off center here. It might feel a little bit like this. That's okay. We are going to encourage it as much as possible just to settle back into the center. It might still feel a little bit offset. That's totally okay. So let's just take the fingertips out to the side. If this is terribly uncomfortable, you could sit on top of your block. That might help you out a little bit, or prop up whatever extra space you find in your body. So we're just in the middle here. We are going to move around it a little bit. So first we're going to twist over away from the feet. So just turn that way. Feel that deep kind of loving squeeze in your lower torso. And then let's twist over towards the feet. See how that feels. Good. One more time, just go away from the feet. And then as we come back to the center, we're going to come forward. So how much you come, that's going to be up to you. You can place your hands down. You could go a little bit further if that feels okay. Again, we're not going to stay too long, but long enough to find a nice deep out breath and just unweight your body here. So let the ground hold you up. Try to let go of your effort and just allow gravity to take over here. All right, good. Now, as we walk it back up, we're going to set up double seated pigeon, which is a pretty intense one. So I'm going to give you options, of course. This back leg is going to come around. And let's talk about this pose in terms of some fire logs. So if our legs were fire logs, right now I've got them where one is just resting in front of the other, a little bit staggered, okay? Both of them on the ground. You can stay like that. If you would like a little bit more, you could take that front fire log and stack it on top of the back one, and they might still be staggered. So your foot might go up towards your calf. If that feels good and you want more, you start to slide your fire logs so that they're more perfectly stacked. So the ankle goes over towards the knee, and then that top knee rests towards the bottom ankle. As you can see in my body, I've got a lot of extra space there, so I could always put a block underneath for some support, or again, sit on top of blocks. So first, let's just stay upright for a couple of breaths. It might feel pretty intense. That's okay. That's kind of the point. But we can work with that intensity in training the rest of the body to remain calm. So your feet do not need to be clenched here. You could wiggle your toes. Your jaw does not need to be clenched here. You could close your eyes and just let your shoulders drop down away from your face. And this might feel good and plenty, but if you wanted to, you could lean forward, sort of like we did with that deer, and just settle into the stretch a little bit more. Alrighty, good. Let's walk it back up. We're going to untangle those legs. Just take the feet out in front. We could do a couple windshield wipers here. Just imagine holding that a couple more minutes. If you've not done a yin practice yet, I highly encourage it. It's good stuff. All right, so let's set up that deer on the other side, lining up your shin with the top edge of the mat and the back one with your side edge of the mat. Again, that's a loose suggestion. You adjust to make the pose fit your body and feel good. Feel free to use your block underneath your hips for a little bit of help. See how you feel first, trying to settle into the center. We're going to twist away from the feet. Okay, we're going to twist towards the feet. We're going to twist away from the feet again. And then we'll just come to the center and come forward if that feels okay. All right, good. Let's come on up. Let's swing the back leg around so that we can determine how we want to stack up our legs. You can go one in front of the other. You could go one on top of the other in a staggered position. You can also work towards stacking them right on top of each other. Settle in. Get nice and heavy in the sitting bones, nice and light up through the crown of the head. Relax through the shoulders. Find your out breath. Maybe close your eyes. You can stay upright or you can hinge forward and come a little deeper into it. Okay, good stuff. Let's come on up and out. Nice job. Let's untangle. Open it up again. Just take a little bit of movement here. All right, we're going to start to wrap things up. Let's turn on our mat and I'm just going to take a quick forward fold seated here so you can reach out. And then we're just going to mimic that shape down on our back. So as you roll down, you can lift your legs up and just kind of pull your legs towards your body as much as you can. You might even want to reach up, see if you can find your toes. You may or you may not. You could grab behind your calves. Just imagine that you're doing that same forward fold just from a different position now. On the way down, we can drop into a happy baby. And then real quick, let's just drop the feet, bring the knees together. We're going to do a quick twist, two knees over to one side. Yes, back to the center, two knees to the other side. Good, back to the center. If there's any other movement that your body is craving, I encourage you to do that. And then just take a few moments here to find a nice, comfortable, cozy spot on your mat. We'll enjoy just a few moments of stillness and quietness together. Notice how you feel around your pelvis, your hips, your lower back. Hopefully you feel just a little looser, a little lighter, a little more connected, and a little bit more at ease. Thank your body for showing up on the mat today and doing something really, really good for yourself. I encourage you to stay as long as you're able to continue enjoying moments of relaxation. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to wrap it up and thank you for joining me. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste.